Good evening, everyone.
Oh,
Good evening, Miss Meddy. Long time no see.
Yep, still here.
I am hoping we have a quorum tonight. Chuck sent out an email canceling the old Monday meetings,
Oh no.
and I already got an email from Tracy asking about it, so I corresponded with her. Um, I haven't heard from Debbie. I tried giving her a call today, and I haven't heard. Is she in the office or did she head home already?
Debbie?
Yeah.
She's here.
Okay, so she'll be logging in a few minutes then.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Jason, I heard you're out of town.
Yes.
How about that? Is it snowing there?
It the crazy thing is it's my mom sent me pictures of it snowing 2 days ago and it was snowing really hard. I got in today, it was 75 degrees.
Oh, that's wild.
That that's
That's
Midwest.
crazy.
That's
Yeah, that's crazy about the Midwest.
that's Midwest weather for you. And Carrie's at the airport. I'm in Kansas. The geniusness of technology.
Hey, thank God we can do this, right? Otherwise, we'd miss meetings.
Yeah, I'm sitting in a very old house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 1899 and 1905.
Wow, that's awesome. Those are some of my favorite houses. Really nice old ones.
Yeah, so this one is very old and very nice. Needs some upkeep here and there, but it's like all things.
That's so cool.
Is it haunted too?
We think it's being haunted by my grandmother.
It can happen. Those old
Yeah, they
homes in
bought.
the Midwest, you never know.
Yeah, they bought the house in 1956 and lived in it their entire lives and raised my dad and all my aunts in it. So my mom and
How
dad now own it, and
cool.
they swear it's being haunted by my grandmother.
Huh. Nice.
We have a quorum. So Pablo, if you want to give a couple more minutes, we see if we get the other commissioners, but we do have officially four commissioners.
Right, just on my way.
Carrie, have you heard from Todd?
Um, no, actually, I have not.
Okay, because he missed the last meeting too, so I didn't know if there was something else going on.
Um, no, I don't know. I'm wondering if he's just kind of gotten, well, Todd's part is planning commission, isn't he?
Oh, he is planning commission. I apologize.
That's right. No, that's what
You're
happens.
my
We see
you're
each other
you're
in some
my
meetings.
yeah you're my parks planning commissioner person.
Yeah.
So we're missing um
Is Tyler on here?
we're missing Tyler and Marissa Mestis. And is Debbie on? I don't see Debbie.
I don't see Debbie on yet.
Do you want me to go up front and see if she's
Yeah, she just sent out the meeting invite reminder, so maybe she's just getting logged on. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind going up there, Maddie, and just seeing if she's having technical difficulties, it happens. I'll let the cat out of the bag. I am hoping to have us back in person either May or June.
That would be spectacular.
And I'll be honest, I'm waiting till the new Public Services Center building opens up. So instead of trying to bring everybody back to the JMC for like one meeting and then move everybody out to the Public Service Center, I'm just waiting till that opens up. So, and it's supposed to open either May or late April, early May. So, depending on which meeting it is, depends on which one we'll be able to get to.
We are looking to check roller back. Once again, if you're not needing your bag, please see us here. There is no charge to do that, and we can tag your bag to your final destination. That's in Canada. If you run out of overhead bin space, we will be tagging any additional bags. So you do want to make sure house keys, car keys, medication, and lithium batteries out.
I'm trying to figure out how to mute this on my phone.
Yeah, it's either at the bottom or the top. I had to do that one time too. It's not the easiest thing. Maddie, did you find out any information for us?
So Debbie's having technical difficulties. She said don't hold up. She can get the video and audio and write the minutes from that. Also, Marissa Mastis is running a little late. She got stuck at work. So.
Okay. So Pablo, I will turn it over to you as the chair then, and we'll get started.
All right. Yeah, so we're gonna have a couple more people coming on. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Great. All right. All right, so we're gonna call this meeting to order. We're gonna do a roll call. Commissioner.
I'll take care of that since Debbie's out. I'll play the role of the clerk. So, Chairman Rowe,
Here.
Vice Chair Hubler. She is here. I think she was trying to keep her phone on mute. Commissioner Seberg.
Here.
Commissioner Hoover is here. Commissioner Odd.
Here.
Commissioner Howard is absent, and Commissioner Mestis is absent. Commissioner Hubler, you're here, correct? Can you just flash your camera? We still have 4 without Commissioner Hubler, so let's proceed. I think she's playing with, she's trying to do it on her phone.
Yeah, for sure. And we still got, so we're gonna have 2 more people on this meeting. Great. All right. So approval of minutes. Did everyone get a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting?
Did, and I just have one comment or question, and that is regarding on the minutes, it doesn't have the location of us calling in on Zoom. It has the location being at the office. So I don't know if we have to do that or we should do that, but I think it should be noted somewhere in the minutes that we've been calling in on, well, it's Blue Jeans, I guess. That's
Yeah.
not Zoom.
I will talk with Debbie. Let me see. Oh yeah, the location. Yeah, maybe I'll talk with Debbie and we'll change that to virtual in the location.
Would it be beneficial to have
As a history, if anybody looks at that and says, "Oh, you guys met together," during COVID, and we didn't. So.
Yeah, I'll have Debbie change that to virtual.
Okay. And that's the only comment I had on the minutes. They looked good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if possible, maybe a link or something. But yeah, just the fact that it was virtual would be great. Does anyone have anything else? Okay, so can we So we have a motion to approve the minutes with the pending changes.
I'll move that we approve the minutes with the recommended change of
Awesome.
location.
Anyone want to second that?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All approve, say aye.
Aye.
And I'm just because Debbie's not here and she'll be doing this by record. The maker of the motion was Commissioner Hoover, and the second was Commissioner Seberg.
Yep. And all right. So moving on, we got public comments and concerns, which is page 6 of your packet.
And now that Debbie's here, she gets to read. Debbie, are you with us? I guess I will do the honor. So this was an email that we received from Councilmember Justin Evans asking it to be read into the record. So I will do that at this time. So hello, commissioners. I want to welcome the new faces who have joined the commission and wish to say thank you for joining such a great group with lots of upcoming decisions. I'd like to say thank you to all the familiar faces who've been around for a while and appreciate all your efforts and passion for our parks and community. Last month there was a discussion had regarding the renaming of the community garden. A few of you were fortunate enough to know Greg Peters, the struggles he overcame, his health issues, his housing situation, and his passion he had for four things: his daughters, his community, the 49ers, and his this garden. I am not certain why the one letter against this renaming was read into the record and the other 8 to 9 letters not read. It was certainly a blow to his daughters and the community who were all on the call hoping to have the commission read aloud the stories in support for Greg so we could recommence on the good times one more time. I'm guessing that by default, not decreeing it to be read into the record, exempt it from being read into the record, but that's a discussion for another day. I'm grateful to have heard the stories and history of others who have stepped up over the years, the founding such great things as the garden and shaping the city. There is no doubt. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. There is no doubt that they too should be recognized, and like Commissioner Hubler mentioned, the Midtown Park naming contest would be a great way to show appreciation to those who brought us here, and certainly more appropriate for the size of their contribution to this community. Greg certainly wasn't a founding member of the community or this garden. He wasn't a philanthropist donating millions. His name wasn't on any building or businesses, and honestly, he wasn't a known name beyond the four corners of Bonney Lake. What he was, however, was passionate for this garden, and while he may not have started it, he certainly turned it into what it is today. He may not have donated millions, but he did donate his time through thousands of hours he put into the community garden through volunteering hours with the garden. Beautify Bonney Lake, our local schools, and through his employers' community programs. His name may not be known beyond the four corners of Bonney Lake, but it's known by nearly everyone within it. You'd be hard-pressed to find any member who has served our community in some way, shape, or form that doesn't have a fond memory or story about Greg. Greg was short. If you could take over, I'm on that next paragraph.
Okay, Greg was short for Gregory, but it might as well have been short for gregarious. Standing close to 6'7" and likely over 300 pounds, you could not miss Greg. He was, however, always the gentlest giant you could ever meet. While several new faces may not have had the opportunity to meet Greg, hear his laugh, eat his tomatoes, or hear about his undying love for his 2 girls, he was certainly a pillar in this community that needs to be recognized. Honoring the man, the myth, and the legend, and to many, he was all 3. Renaming the garden would be touching tribute and an appropriate legacy for someone who only had his passion for his community to hang his hat on. As for the cost of the sign and any renaming concerns, I will personally oversee that. There are enough community members who would be honored and touched that this man is being memorialized. We can make sure these costs are covered at no cost to the city. As for the garden location is, as for if the garden location is transferred, my thought would be to transfer the name with it. It's not only a latitude and longitude that made the community garden a model for the county, it's about the people who put it on the map. A legacy should be forever in place, and so too should the name when the garden is moved. This has been a project the community started within hours of hearing of Greg's passing back in September. It's a worthy project and an honorable way to memorialize someone. Greg had nothing to give but himself, and he gave all of that to this community. Those of us that knew and loved him, now there are no truer words. To those that didn't have the opportunity to know and love him are the ones who truly missed out. There was no kinder or humbler man. I hope you take these words, all the stories previously submitted last month, and consider renaming the community garden to the Greg Peters Memorial Garden. In a world of difficult decisions, this shouldn't be one of them. Thank you for your time and consideration, Justin Evans, friend of Greg. Tonight, there's no better title to be called than that.
All right. So, going off of the recommendation in that letter to read the other ones into the record, should we do that at this time?
No. So what happened was, and I have spoken with Councilmember Evans, was that at the time, the way our protocol is, we only read things into the record if there's a specific request. And since those other ones didn't have a specific request, we didn't read it into it. It wasn't meant to be choosing. The other person just asked to have that one specifically read, so we did. It's the same protocol the city council used. So we received this as a comment this time, and it requested to be read into the record. All of the other comments are still part of the record. We just didn't read them for the video audio.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, that they're in the record. Commissioner Hubler, do you have something?
I do. So I was contacted today by Kim Mace, who is part of the leadership team over at the Bonney Lake Community Garden, and their group really wants to kind of give their input on this as well, because they're part of it. They're the leadership team over there. And so they did actually already send in emails to the mayor to kind of give their input and what their thoughts are on the renaming of the community garden. Just to give you a gist, this is what she sent to me. The leadership team of the Bonney Lake Community Garden have seen Justin Evans' post to rename the Bonney Lake Community Garden, and all have sent emails to the mayor to say that we do not agree with the name change. We are working with the city on an area and a bench with plaque to memorialize a spot for Greg. The change of name would be confusing to all, as Greg agreed it was about community and not a memorial itself. Just thought it would be helpful to have the view of the current leadership in the garden. We absolutely loved Greg and will do all possible within the garden to create a peaceful spot and memorial to him, but do not agree with the renaming of the garden. And they said tonight they just didn't have time to get emails into us, but they have sent emails to the mayor.
Chair Monroe, you're muted right now.
All right. So that is the public comment and concerns. We're going to move that discussion into item A in block 7. But moving on to the, is there any more public comments or concerns? No? Okay. All right. So moving on to the next item, the Planning Commission report.
So our Planning Commission meeting, we actually have decided to align our meetings to 6 o'clock to go along with all the other commission meetings in the city. We are now in discussions about not having so many areas that allow storage facilities in them. Will be, some that are already existing or have permits processes already started will be grandfathered in and allowed to stay there, but the there's two areas that I can't remember the letters on the areas, but we have actual areas within the city that we are talking about trying to limit what can be there, and not allowing more storage facilities in those areas would be helpful. And that's kind of where the Planning Commission is heading towards. But, of course, that's got to go on to more discussion and then on to the City Council to make decisions. I think that was basically the gist of our thing, was just working on that for now. And, of course, our bylaws. Did I miss anything, Jason?
No, that was perfect.
All right, thank you for that report. So, moving on to old continuing business. So, this side of community garden naming. So, from what I gather, there are two names so far, plus the third option for memorial. But there's more emails being sent currently by the current board members of that garden. Is that my understanding?
Yes, and they're already talking with the mayor about it as well.
So
So
I know
the
the plan was to go over this meeting, but is this something that probably should be tabled given the concerns of the board? What does commissioners think? What do y'all think?
I'm actually in line with the board. I think we discussed this last time about keeping it the Bonney Lake Community Garden because that's where it is. That's what it represents. I think the idea of whether it be a bench or a portion of the garden for a memorial for those who have dedicated their time or going forward. If there's a future, whether they include if the garden gets moved, if they include a landscape architect to design a memorial garden for those who have helped or something like that. There's ways to represent many people versus just one. It's for the community. That's my feeling also.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything to add?
I know, for me, I sit back and I understand the place that Greg had down there at the community garden, but I think the board of the leadership team down there, they should have a say in this because they're the ones that are down there. They're the ones working this every single day or every year or whatever it is. Sorry, I'm at the airport, guys. Sorry.
no.
So that's just kind of where I sit too. I think it's there should be more than just a few people that make decisions on that when we're not the ones impacted by it, they are.
So do you think it would be prudent to table it for the next meeting so they can have their say, or just decide now that we're not going to rename it? Yep,
my thought would be to let everybody have their say. Let them say what they want and feel like they've been heard. That to me is fair.
Absolutely agree. So could we have a motion to table this for the next meeting? Or is there any more further discussion? Sorry about that. Is there any further discussion on this?
No, I motion to move it to the next meeting so that others can have an ability to make a say in it as well.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
I second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to table this to the next meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, it's been moved and tabled to the next meeting with unanimous approval.
Commissioner Hubler, could you email me the contact information that the person that you were emailing with? Because maybe I can get in contact with them and see if they want to come and present something, or I can help to facilitate that communication between the park commission and the leadership team. So if you could send me the contact information, that would be great. I don't have it. I'm kind of picking these roles up, so any help would be greatly appreciated.
Yep, I will send that to you.
Thank you.
All right. So now moving on to the so that's been tabled. Moving on to the Midtown Park naming. So is there anything further on this one?
I just wanted to present an update on where we were at in the Midtown naming project. Um, so we kicked it off beginning of March. If you've looked at the Parks Commission page, right at the top, there is a spot for the Parks naming essay contest. It has the terms and conditions, it has the flyer, and it has the link to the Seamless doc where they can upload their essay. So we've got that kicked off. We have sent out all of the principal letters, or the letters to all of the people on the contacts page. We have, I've been in contact with Alicia Ryan at the Bonney Lake Library, and I'm trying to work something out with her to incorporate the library a little bit, whether it be passing out flyers to everybody who rents a book or something a bit more of a presentation or a time where they can go over that. So yeah, that's where we're at so far. Just getting the word out there. We haven't seen any essays yet, but hope to see them soon.
We definitely don't want to rush these essays. I mean, this is going
No,
to be
no.
park game for a long time. What you guys have
Right.
done has been absolutely incredible. This is really exciting for the entire city
Yeah.
and the entire
I'm glad
community.
to hear that. Yeah.
So thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions or anything to add to that?
Just one quick question. Where else is it being advertised or marketed?
So I did request from Sadie, who posts on our social medias, to post it on social media. I don't have social media, so I haven't been able to confirm that that has been done.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that it has been done. Yeah.
Okay.
It was posted on there because there was a lot of comments on it. So
Yeah.
Bad ones or good ones?
I am actually checking right now. But have you heard any feedback from all these the information going out there besides from the comments on Facebook?
I haven't, no, and I was hoping to get some sort of email from someone that was on the contact list, but no, I have not.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, but no, thank you so much. It was absolutely, the launch and the whole plan was absolutely incredible. So I'm really excited about this. Commissioner Hubler, Vice Chair Hubler.
has anybody reached out to the schools yet?
Yes. Yeah, and they were on the contact list. I've sent emails to all the principals that included the flyer and the letters. I'm hoping that they pass it around, but I'm thinking I might try to find some sort of someone who has like the student relationship, like ASB supervisor or something, to kind of see if they can do something as well.
I'll see if I can pull some contacts. I know ASB president at Bonney Lake High School is one of our Sumner Bonney Lake School Board members' daughter. So I'll see if I can pull some stuff there in other schools too.
Okay. And I should say, I should say that I have sent numerous flyers out to homeschooling organizations in the area. So I'm hoping that they get the word out there, because I know homeschoolers have a little bit more ability to change their curriculum as quickly as getting an essay organized. So yeah.
Thank you, Medi.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So there has been 45 likes or 45 comments and 12 shares, so it's going to be a bit of reading to do there. And a lot of trolls. Nice. I mean, this is when you open it up, but hopefully the goal of this is to get rid of some of that negative connotation around that park and really build a community around it. I think that's the major goal of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is an exciting project. Anyone got anything else before we move on? All right. So we got new business now. Park and Trail construction update.
All right, I am going to share my screen. So hold on one second while I try to do this. Should be seeing the PowerPoint presentation. All right. All right, so I just wanted to give everybody a quick update from the Parks Commission on what we're doing with trails and park planning, or at least the construction side. I don't think this is kind of talked about enough with the Parks Commission to see what's going on, so I just want to kind of walk through those things. So as you know, we've got a number of trails under construction. It's kind of just an overview map. We've got kind of what we call segment 2B1, which is the link between the 95th trail that was already constructed. It's actually under construction right now along with the Eli Hill Trail connection, the staircase. And also we have 2B2, which is getting out, and also 2A. So I'm going to walk you through each one of those and where we're at. Oops. So segment 2A, the trail is under construction. It was a $3.4 million project cost. $1.5 million came from WSDOT pedestrian and bike safety grant programs. If you look over to the side, there is a picture of the guys out on the trail building a number of what we call their fiberglass boardwalks. Because you did have a wetland through this area, we couldn't put in a normal type trail. So this is all a kind of a superstructure that's put in with grading on top of it so that the light can still get through to the wetland below. So this is a kind of a different trail construction, and this is over on 2A. They're moving right along, kind of putting in this superstructure all through that trail system. This is a picture from 2B1. This was also in construction, a $1.2 million project, also funded with WSDOT, partially funded with WSDOT pedestrian and bike safety grants. This is just a picture of kind of the typical asphalt multi-mixed use trail, and then you can see we've got a couple areas where we're actually putting in bridges across some wetland areas that were kind of lower down where the trail was. And I believe this is actually one of the stream crossings where it goes over Fennel Creek. I don't have a picture for segment 2B2. It was just awarded in January. They're mobilizing. I think they've started construction. $1.3 million project. We also have a PSRC non-motorized grant for $1.6 million, which covered construction and design. And then the last one is what we call the Eli Hill Trail Staircase. If you've driven on 410, you've kind of started seeing this thing peek its head up above the road. It was funded by it was funded by Sound Transit with a Sound Transit access grant for about $500,000. Project cost was $430,000. The grant covered both design and construction. You can see the stairs are actually on now, and there's also what we call a runnel next to these stairs, which is like a U-shaped channel. So if you're on a bike on the Fennel Creek Trail and you want to get up, you can get up, put your bike in that runnel, and walk up the staircase, and then catch 410. The ADA access to 410 is the 2B2 that takes people the long way around. So we've provided both the ADA connection and a quicker connection for bikes and pedestrians through this staircase right up next to the 410 right away. And as you said, when you drive by, you can see it right now. So is there any question on like kind of the trail side?
When do you expect the stairs and all these the ones to be done again?
The stairs are getting close. The stairs are actually in now. I think John said they've got a couple more months of work to do. I can find out for the next meeting when the exact drop dead date is. I think they're moving rapidly. I think in the next probably, I'd say by summer, all but maybe 2B2 should be up and running.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is there going to be some kind of ribbon cutting ceremony to bring attention and awareness to this?
I believe so. I can double check with the engineering staff and verify that. And the nice thing is when these are completed, there'll be a continuous trail from Victor Falls Elementary School all the way to Old Sumner Buckley Highway.
Amazing.
Nice. Nice.
And we only got 2 miles left to the rest.
Yeah. And the last 2 miles, I think, are going to be some of the most challenging. Speaking of the last 2 miles, we do have the first project going in at Allen York Park. The total project, this is the multi-sport athletic field. It's a synthetic ball field for multiple sports. I think lacrosse, football, baseball, softball. It was funded. Total project cost for construction was $4.5 million approximately. We did receive an RCO grant for, I said 100 for 150,000. I think that may be wrong. I think it might be 300,000. I think I typed that wrong, so I apologize if the grading was off. But this is under construction. You can see they've kind of pulled down a lot of the trees out there, demolished the old shed, and are going to be moving forward to get this constructed. It's supposed to be constructed by the end of summer, toward the mid to late end of summer.
So Jason, with this is this is the portion of where the park play structure is supposed to be installed, correct?
Correct. And I don't have 100%. It's shown on the plans, but I'm not 100% sure how the park structure that's getting built. I've got to get more clarity around that.
Okay, I think that's 23. Kind of those blue things.
Yes, I believe so.
So, with all this, for the last 2.5 years, we've been talking to the community, and I believe Debbie should have a list somewhere of volunteers to help install this when it comes May, June, whenever we're getting close to the end there.
Yeah, it's right here. It's actually item 12, and what I don't have clarity on is if they ended up throwing that in the bid for the field.
Okay.
That's the part I don't have clarity on because I know it's on the plans. So I'll have to I need to get more clarity around that myself.
Okay. Are the trees that are still standing staying there? Or are they?
Yeah, all the ones that are inside the orange construction fencing as you drive by are staying.
Okay, perfect. I drive by it every day.
Yeah, I had to go out there a couple times and say, no, you don't have to cut the tree down. Well, the roots might be entangled. Well, then grind the stump.
Yeah. Good.
So we tried to balance and preserve that feeling as you came around the road of still having the big trees there and then tucking the field in behind it.
Nice.
Awesome. Is there anything else on this?
Yeah. I think there's about three or four rows of trees that you guys kept. So.
Yeah. I think Commissioner Odd had a question, Chair Monroe.
Sorry, I just twisted my phone so it's back to the normal.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right. Okay, awesome. So, any questions on any of the trails or parks, the projects that went on? Yes, Vice Chair Hubler.
So with the parking area that used to be there for the boats, where is that going to be now? What's going to happen?
We don't know yet. The Public Safety Committee, the Chief of Police, and Ryan have been talking about that. And there's ideals ranging from shutting the boat launch down for a year to trying to find places to put parking. So it's supposed to be on the City Council discussion agenda, I believe, at the next workshop.
Is the area that's on that map, is that wetlands and they're not going to be able to put it there? Is that correct?
That is correct. This is where my predecessor did something. I'm like, well, time out. We can't take out the wetland to put in the boat parking. So where they showed it in the master plan, it can't be constructed because there's a massive wetland. So long-term solutions, I mean, long term, there is a solution. We have the entire old city hall site that this summer will be vacated when the entire public works staff move out to the new location. So there's talk about how that gets used. The question really is, in the interim, this summer, what do we do? And like I said, the conversations have been anything from shut the boat launch down for a year because of the parking issue to try to find areas to provide additional parking because the field took up the boat trailer parking that was used last year. So that's the council's discussing that. I know the commission, it was briefed at public safety, and they're going to be talking with it at full council, I believe, at the next workshop.
All right.
I don't think there's an easy answer.
Sounds like it.
Is there any more questions about anything with the park concerning the parks and trails or current construction? All right. So moving on, we're going to get into Park Trails and Open Spaces Plan RFP.
So kind of building off that whole discussion we have about what are we going to do with things in the future, this is the process. So this is a draft request for proposals that we prepared that we are planning to issue to the public. However, given the heightened interest around parks, we felt that it would be better to run the RFP through Parks Commission, Planning Commission, and the City Council before we issued it. Parks Commission's getting the first kind of bite at the apple. So the ideal here is if there's things that we're missing, things that we want changed, things we want to add, things we want to delete, you don't have to have the exact wording. Just kind of let us know in concept, and I'll kind of walk you through. I'm really going to skip over the first part of it because I think that's just kind of some of the foundational items, but we really are trying to build on things that we did in the past, not to throw away old work, use what we can of it, and then build on that process to create a new, fully comprehensive plan that's also consistent with RCO, which is the Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office, which we get a lot of grants from. So we've kind of listed out all of the foundational documents that have been done over the years that we're going to use and hand to the consultant and say, this is your starting plan. And provide as much GIS support as we can to lower the cost. So really, when you get into the scope of it, we want this to be a comprehensive plan that builds on this pre-existing work to develop a comprehensive plan for how we, not only what we do with all of our parks at a conceptual level from programming, recs, and arts, but also how we fund them, both short-term, long-term, and also the maintenance costs associated with it. So we are, as part of this, looking at developing an ad hoc committee. The ad hoc committee at this time would have 9 members. Everybody wants to be on these, but we do have to kind of start to bring them down so they're not too big. So at this point, it would be at least one park planning commissioner, one park commissioner, one art commissioner, one city council member. We do want to try to have some members from other organizations, public, citizen type groups, whether it be Little League or the citizens. I'm going to leave that kind of up to the city council. But we also want to make sure that we have some of our park maintenance people, park operations people, David Wells, who does the recreational program. I'll be there to really be the central point at which all the discussions happen. Because having so many people wanting to be involved, you can't do it by each commissioner. It would just get too unwieldy. And if you have stakeholder committees of about 9 is about the biggest you can get. After that, they really get just unwildly out of control. So if the council does want to do the ad hoc committee, that's ultimately their decision. We would have to come back and let the park commissioner kind of talk about who they would want to have on that committee, and then kind of that person. That being said, the park commission would still get briefings, the whole park commission, provide input and have briefings. But between those, there's lots of like smaller decisions that have to be made and discussions, and we just need a way to funnel that information and have the consultant really having that group. But there'll be open houses. If you look down a little bit further, we want to have a big public involvement plan. So we want to have not only social media, but something like Mural, which is actually an online mapping platform where people can go in and circle things and type comments right on a map. And it can be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so it doesn't even need us to be there. But they can put sticky notes and pictures and everything they want on these maps, and that would be another way. We are talking about doing a community survey. The question that I have to get from council is whether they want it to be statistically valid or just a community survey. Statistically valid surveys are very expensive, but sometimes people want them because then they know it's getting a broader representation. So that's just a cost. But yeah, several meetings with the ad hoc committee, and then briefings with Parks Commission, Planning Commission, all the way through the process. We are going to update our demographics data because that's required, and then a complete parks and trail open space plan. What that plan will include is conceptual designs for all of the regional parks and our 2 neighborhood parks, kind of what it should look like when it's fully built out, ultimate design. From that, we're going to then do a constrained capital program that talks about what we're going to build over the next 20 years. The reason you want to have both is because then you can do things that doesn't cause problems for other elements. For example, taking out the boat trailer parking when you put in the athletic field, you would have those two happening at the same time versus being on 2 different schedules. So just so you understand every step, you have both. At the same time, we are going to be looking at updating our park impact fees as part of that funding element. Council is discussing and has tabled to their retreat whether or not to do a B&O tax to provide another source of dedicated funding to parks. The challenge with parks is funding. And so they're looking at a B&O tax, and there's different levels of that where you can exempt certain amounts of income so small businesses don't have as much of an impact as kind of the larger businesses. They're working on that, but that could be another funding source that comes into that capital program. But that decision will likely be made before we get into this part of it. Level of service standards, a complete inventory. We're also going to do a trails plan, identifying a final route, as Commissioner Seberg mentioned, for the last leg of the Fennel Creek Trail up to Allen York Park. Looking at the next kind of leg and segments of the Eli Hill Trail, and also the southern part of the Fennel Creek Trail, where it ties into the Foothills Trail down on McCutcheon. So those alignment issues are part of this plan too. Park development plans, trails, open space, looking at our current open space inventory to see how we can maybe use those for less what they call passive recreation, bird watching, informal trails, those types of things. Project cost estimation for everything, a strategic capital and financing plan, and then, of course, the final plan. And then we have to do SEPA on it. So those would be the tasks that the consultant would be tasked with. The schedule right now is to have any feedback from the Planning Commission. If you have more after tonight, it's fine. Just send me an email because we don't plan on finalizing the RFP until the end of April. That would give me time to get through the Planning Commission and the City Council, and then try to get the RFP out mid-May onto the street so that we can start getting this kind of process rolling. So I just wanted to give it to the Parks Commission and let's say, read it, let me know what you think, and then we can kind of go from there. And if I can take any questions, or if there's any changes or things you would like, please let me know. Now, with that, I'll turn it back over to Chair.
All right.
Mineral.
So, Is there any questions about anything Mr. Sullivan said?
I do.
Yep, we got two questions. Commissioner Seeberger?
Have you vetted out firms, or do you have an idea of firms that are going to be this directly sent to, or is it?
We will probably, I want to talk with Ryan and just get a strategy, but we will probably go through and do a normal RFP release just out to the general public as a whole, but also look at the MSRC small works roster for anybody who says they have a park consultant type history and just send it out to them as well. We're going to cast as large of a net as we can for this one. Because I don't think it's going to, with some of the stuff that we're asking for on the financial side, I think you're going to have a consultant team made up of multiple firms. I think that like a landscape architecture firm will probably be the lead firm, but you're going to have somebody that does project cost estimating, financing. So I think you may end up having 2 or 3 firms bidding together on the package.
Commissioner Hoover had a question.
Yes. In answer to that, I can probably help with some recommendations of firms that have done similar things throughout the country through either National Recreation and Park Association or through Washington or even California. So I might be able to help with that.
Yeah, if you could send me a list of firms, I'll gladly add them to the list.
Yeah, there's a bunch. There's a bunch. And they're good at it. And they do this, they do just park plans throughout the country. So, and there's some that's willing to get their foot in the door in Washington, in the state of Washington. So that's one thing I can help with. And then 2, do you have an overall idea of the cost?
I don't.
Just this RFP?
I don't. It's going to be expensive. I know that.
Yeah, the scope is so large.
Yeah.
Big. So.
Yeah, I'm expecting to come in probably at least $200,000, if not slightly higher.
I think
yeah.
I think when we talked about this possibly before, the budget started around 300.
Yeah. So it's not going to be cheap, but this is kind of what everybody's been wanting, and I think at the bottom of the RFP it says we can award phases. So we may get the whole RFP out and start getting parts of it awarded, and may have to figure out how to do other parts of it as well.
Okay.
Is there any other comments or questions about the RFP? Moving right along, we got, for the good of the order, is there any correspondence?
None.
None? Hearing none?
None.
All right. Was it none or 1?
None. 0.
Okay.
Zero.
Got awesome. All right. Any staff comments?
Just for those who... Oh, go ahead, Debbie.
I was just going to let Commissioner Hoover know that I am adding the location, that it's a virtual meeting. I did talk with our city clerk just to make sure what the wordage should be, so that will be changed on the minutes, along with any other corrections that were noted earlier.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, for those who weren't on the call, kind of when I kind of mentioned off the cuff, the Public Services Center is opening up late April, early May. It will be the new seat of the Park Commission, as well as where Debbie and all of public services work. So I'm hoping that we will transition back to in-person meetings either May or June. It just depends on the timing of when we get the keys to the building. And we have all of the equipment in the building to do in-person meetings. And I'm still coordinating. I got to coordinate with Sadie a little bit on making sure we still have a virtual option, but I think it can just be a call-in. It doesn't have to be live streamed. It can be just a call-in option to meet our requirements. But I'm hoping to move back to the in-person meetings. Nothing else changes, May, June timeframe. at the Public Service Center.
And hopefully some ample advertisement about that for the public if they want to, start showing up again.
Yep, we'll get it out there. I'm just waiting until I have a firm date before I start saying this is the date and then having to retract it, because I think people are getting frustrated with that. Hey, we're opening. No, we're not. We're opening. No, we're not. So I'm waiting to have a little bit more firmer date on when we're going to get keys to the new building. And that way we'll be able to meet out there in our new facility. So very, very nice building. So we want to make sure that the citizens are getting to use it. And we thought having the commission meetings out there would be a great way to do that.
All right. Is there any other staff comments?
Not at this time.
All right. Finally, commissioner comments. Oh, yes, I have some. So just kind of going over what we went over today on stuff that we were hoping to follow up on. We talked about getting the knowing if that playground is going to go into that area or not. Also seeing if there's a finalized date for the parks and trails, and seeing if there's a ribbon cutting ceremony, possibly with the mayor or somebody to bring awareness to these projects, and to get the public to really, get out there and see them and use them, because it's something new. And was there anything else that we're going to follow up on next meeting that anyone can remember?
The naming of the community garden.
Yeah, the community garden. Yes, that's the prime thing. Just start getting your ear onto that. There's also with the renaming, if anyone's part of a local group, club, church group, or, on social media, that'd be awesome if we can all share that to get awareness out for that. And I guess also coming up, we're going to discuss if we're going to be taking part of, is it Earth Day is next month? So are we going to be part of that at all? Because I know we were in the past with our badges. And also, is there name tags for the new commissioners being ordered?
I'll have to defer Debbie on the name tags. I don't know.
Oh, they didn't. I never had access to ordering name tags. That was between Don Morrison and Gary. So I don't know if they'll allow me to order a name tag, so we'll have to check that out.
Okay, I got that on the list. And in Earth Day, I am not sure. Commissioner Monroe, I'll be honest. Gary said, "Here's Parks Commission," and I am literally just playing. I think the first couple years are going to be a little. Forgive me if I miss things, because I'm trying to put it all together again. I will look into that.
Absolutely here to help. In the past, all we did was the park cleanup. Clean up around I think Midtown and other parks. And as a commission, we just show up with our badges to be there and available and help out as well, if you want to, as a volunteer. And I just want to see if that's kind of what we're going to be doing this year. We're going to have a meeting. Is it on Earth Day? What day is Earth Day?
April 20th.
So we're having
the next meeting.
Yeah, we're having it on. Next park meeting is on Earth Day. So, and the park cleanup is usually that Saturday before or after. So I'm not sure what if we have anything going on yet.
I will send out some emails to our parks crews, see what they've done in the past, see what the plan is this year, and then I'll at least get an email out to the Parks Commission as a whole, at least what we're thinking of this year.
Cool. Earth Day is on the Friday the 22nd.
Yeah, that my calendar says Earth Day is 22nd. Thank you, Brian.
Awesome. So we'll have a few days before Earth Day to kind of hammer out if we want to do something. Hopefully something's going on. Usually they get with Murray's Disposal and have a big recycling event as well. But I was just curious if there was anything for that this year.
I'll be honest, I have not heard anything, but I will send out some emails this week and see what I can find out.
Awesome. And then with upcoming Tunes at Taps, are we going to be participating this year for at least the big ones like Heart by Heart or Sway or something, as far as having a booth to let people know because there's a lot of great things going on as well as that naming.
I do believe Maddie was thinking about having a booth to do the park naming, but I will put that on my list to follow up as well. And I'll follow up with David Wells.
Awesome. I think that was all the follow-ups coming up. And I wasn't sure if there's going to be anything for Easter and 5K or anything else like that you would possibly want us to participate
I don't know. I can talk with David and see kind of what his plan is. It's all weird with COVID this year. I have not. Yeah, I'll get with David and kind of see what's going on. I'll even see if I can get David Wells at the next meeting and talk about recreation stuff.
Yeah, because that is kind of our scope is recreation, and as far as
Yeah.
Earth Day goes, we're part of the tree board, so that's going to be pretty important for us here. That is all I have on my part. Does any other commissioners have any other questions or comments, concerns, or things to add to the next meeting or follow up? Oh, it's a really great meeting. It's going to be a great meeting next April 20th. Let's see. Did the other commissioner end up getting back on?
Yeah, everybody who was here at the beginning is still here.
Okay.
Yeah, Marissa didn't come on yet.
Okay. Well, there's going to be audio available and video.
Audio and video.
Audio and video available. Awesome. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting for the month? I think the motion was muted.
It was, sorry. I motioned to adjourn the meeting.
All right. I have a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. All opposed? All right. This meeting is officially adjourned. I'll see you next month. Have a safe flight, Vice Chair Hubler. And
Jason, can you hold on for a sec?
Yes.
we're heading out. I'll see
Thank
you
you.
later.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Sorry, did you see my email about the Planning Commission timesheet?
Yes, I have to do 3 city council packets, and then I'm going to go over and sign that.
Okay, are you able to sign it, or do you want me to print it and just have Ryan sign it tomorrow?
No, I can sign it. I can sign it electronically. I've got everything with me.
You're on vacation, so what do you mean 3 council packets?
I get 3 council
okay,
packets.
You don't need to say anything. You don't need to say anything. We're being recorded. Okay, you have a great trip. Have a good time.
All right, thanks.
We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you later. Thanks, Debbie.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.